Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. We're just going to give it a few minutes just while waiting for a few more people to join, and then we'll kick it all off.
Yeah, it's looking good. Got 17 people.
Cool. Yeah, we'll just give it a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Get a few more people hopping on. I mean, this is recorded anyway, so all good, all good. I guess we can start kicking off now. I mean, this is recorded session anyway, so anyone that does miss the start or anything, it's all good. It's all recorded. We're going to be sharing the PowerPoint after this as well. So then you have a record of everything we talked about tonight, and you'll just be able to go through it whenever you want, just as a reference. So once again, thank you for joining us tonight. After this live stream finishes, we will be adding the link to this PowerPoint in the description. We'll post it on Twitter and Discord as well. Then you can just refer back to the content anytime you need. So myself and Adam both hold master's degrees in cybersecurity. We've got 10 plus years combined experience in the industry. We've held kind of various roles within the space, from threat hunting to cloud security, even to now secure blockchain development was kind of our most recent focus within the security industry. And within this session, we're just going to be covering some of the key fundamentals about how you can protect yourself in the NFT and crypto space and go through some of the most common scams and hacks there are out there right now. This is going to be a high level overview just of everything right now, but we are going to be producing a lot more detailed videos about specific hacks, how they work, and exploring other security of smart contracts and blockchain apps as we go further down the line. So before we get started, there's a few key terms we'll cover off. So I mean, not everyone knows all of these terms, and we're going to be using them throughout the project, and they're just generally useful ones to know, just within the crypto space and even day to day. So I think the most important one is going to be what a phishing attack is. So essentially, this is kind of an attack or a hack or a scam committed through emails and text messages in an attempt to deceive you and steal data from you. It's a form of social engineering attack. So someone could have, let's say, pretend to be from MetaMask, asking you to verify with your kind of your seed phrase, in order to steal that from you. So that's what a phishing attack is really. It can come in any form, most commonly emails and texts. Next is a wallet. Uh, Much different than what it is in kind of the physical world, but in the crypto space, it's a device or an application that stores your private keys. And then from this allows you to kind of send and receive cryptocurrencies and other kind of crypto tokens as well. Then we actually have two types of wallet. We have a hot wallet. That's a wallet typically connected to the internet. And then we have cold wallets, which are wallets that are typically not connected to the internet. We have our C phrase, which is a recovery key that you can use to regain access to cryptocurrencies, gain back access to your wallet. So this is something you need to keep very, very safe. And then we have MFA, also known as 2FA, which is multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. Just allows you to add a second layer of security on top of your password. And this can be through kind of SMS MFA, or it can be like an app like you've got Google's one on your on phones. You can a huge range of them to generate the MFA codes. So it's just essentially like a 6-digit code you can generate or get texted. Just verify additional security there for anything you do, really.
Just a side note on the MFA Sam's talking about. So you ideally don't want to use the SMS MFAs because they can be you can be attacked via SIM swaps or what's it called?
You got sim spoofing, you got a whole range of different attacks.
Yeah, even social engineering. They can call up your phone company and get the SIM swapped like that as well. So ideally, stay away from that type of MFA.
Yeah, so definitely, I mean, you can even get hardware devices for MFA. Um, so it depends how kind of how hardcore you want to go into your security. I mean, we have physical ones. So once you start kind of having larger sums and doing a lot more in the crypto space, definitely something to consider. But most you can get kind of mobile device ones. That's probably the best one for now. So there are kind of a few basic steps we just recommend taking just as a good precaution for anything. So you can see here we've got a huge range here covering a few different topics. So my biggest one is never show off how much you hold. So I think there's a saying in the crypto space, no matter how many layers of security there is, someone's going to buy a $5 wrench and they're going to get all your secret keys, your private keys, because people can be violent to get what they want. And by showing off, you open yourself up to those forms of attacks. You open yourself up to people looking to hack you. Open yourself up to becoming a target by kind of blagging. You've kind of bagged one of these NFTs. You've made $200,000 or something. You're now a target by saying that. Um, Same with anyone with making money, but it is recommended you just keep it on the down low. Um, I know it might be nice to have the bragging rights of saying I've got this NFT worth $500,000, but it can lead you to losing that $500,000 fairly easily because you'll become a big
Prime target.
target. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're someone that seems like to show it off, someone's going to definitely try and socially engineer that from you as well. So definitely something to be wary about. Just keep it hidden. Like most people don't discuss what they hold in a bank account, so why discuss what you got in crypto? So a few key things like using antivirus software, absolutely vital because there is software that will just absolutely rinse your computer, your phone, your laptop. Yes, even your phone, even an iPhone, an Android, whatever phone you've got, they can just copy every piece of data you've got on there. And then they could install keyloggers. They can kind of steal your key phrases or your passwords, everything like that. So this is why we find it's really important to have that MFA enabled. Um, just because then if something does happen, you've got an extra layer of protection, but definitely install antivirus software. It can be a lifesaver. And I recommend making sure you scan kind of daily, just a quick scan, and then do like a full scan every week, just so you can make sure you know what's going on behind the scenes on there. And every time you kind of look to download something that's a little bit dodgy, don't do it on your main computer and make sure you scan things like that.
And make sure your antivirus is up to date because they're always updating the database. And if you just leave it for a week or two, then you're going to be behind. And then there's always new attacks going on the web, available on the dark web as well. So be careful in that sense as well.
Absolutely, it's like a cat and mouse game between kind of antivirus companies and hackers creating the malicious software, creating malware. I mean, as soon as they'll find a malicious malware, they'll upload that kind of the DNA of it into their database, which is what then the antivirus software will check against. So as soon as they have that stuff, they'll update it. So it's always really important update software anytime you have the option to. Next thing I know is going to be really big is just use a password manager. General security guidance: just don't let your browser save passwords for you. It's not safe. Um, like I was saying earlier, if you were compromised or anything like that, you can just pull everyone's passwords straight from the browser very, very easily. There's no difficulty in doing it. So if you've got access to someone's computer, you can just kind of simply go into the browser and you can see every single password they've done and they've ever saved into what websites. Whereas using a password manager gives you add layer of protection, but you need to have kind of MFA enabled on that. You still have to protect that password manager itself. And ideally, don't use a web-based one, just because that opens you up to a whole nother space of issues, but definitely adds a big layer of protection. And one thing I've seen a lot is don't let FOMO guide you. You might see a project that's really hyped up, it's minting right now or supposedly minting, but in reality, it could be a scam. You could be getting DMs from people and bots saying, "Look, there's only 100 NFTs left. Quick, grab them." And you can feel the FOMO setting in. If it's a project you've been waiting for, you're in the server and you're getting targeted by them. It can be tempting, and you might not think in the moment, but you need to be careful and just try and let the FOMO kind of calm down for a little bit while you're getting
I need
into the
this
mint.
NFT now.
Literally,
Gonna mint
I've seen
now.
so many. And you go on the website and they've got a count, they've got like a mint counter. It's going up rapidly. So you're
Yeah.
there trying to quickly put your wallet details in, and by then it's too late. You've just kind of spent however much on those NFTs, which you're never going to get.
The thing is, it's kind of hard to overcome that logically, because a lot of these hype projects do like sell out really quickly. So you do have to jump on them. But at the same time, you still need to do your due diligence, checking the links. Where did you get the link from, etc.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's my next thing is my biggest thing that everyone in the NFT and crypto space, if you're on Discord, turn your DMs off, have them as friends only, because otherwise you'll get targeted and spammed with bots DMing you about these so-called mints, everything like that. So by doing it this way, you end up protecting yourself a lot more, reducing the amount of spam you get, and just reducing the chance of a mistake happening. Like it might just be a complete accident. You go on one of these links, it looks real, and you mint. But by having them off, it's going to protect you. And then kind of following on from that is make sure you check all the URLs you're going on to. Just double check them. Is there an L swapped out for an I or an I swapped out for an L? Because sometimes it's very hard to tell between the different characters. So I often recommend like actually typing in the proper domain into the web browser. So like if you're doing a mint, make sure you type in the full one and get it from the Discord's official links as well, or wherever they're going to be storing it essentially.
Maybe the
But
announcements.
double check URLs always, always double check them. You don't want to put yourself at risk by just accidentally even mistyping one. Like there will be people targeting that. So, for example, you can have mynft.com. Someone might be targeting have the domain mynfts with an s on the end.com. So if you accidentally type that, you can end up on their site, which looks exactly the same, and mint one of the fake NFTs as well, which is another fatal flaw. Which just double check URLs. My next point is not necessarily a security perspective, but just more of a way you can protect yourself and your funds. Is don't store them, or don't store the majority of them in exchanges. So when your funds are actually in an exchange, they are not in your own wallet; they're in the exchange's wallet. So you're not going to be insured necessarily if something goes wrong. So platforms like Coinbase have a form of insurance. However, they explicitly note that their insurance does not cover all of the funds they store, and they may never be able to repay everything if something were to occur. So I'm sure you've seen exchanges where they've lost hundreds of millions through attacks, and they're not able to give back every Bitcoin, every kind of ETH back to every holder. So you need to make sure you're only having your funds in an exchange as and when you need them. So definitely recommend storing them on a hardware wallet, so a cold wallet off of the internet. Store the majority of your assets on there. Yes, it can be some added hassle, but I think an extra 5 minutes just to do a transaction is a lot better than potentially losing out on thousands and thousands of dollars or pounds, or even hundreds, thousands, or millions, or whatever you've got stored on those wallets. Super, super important. And also with a hardware wallet, I know Adam's going to be going into a lot more detail, but make sure you store the secret key, the recovery phrases somewhere very, very safe, like a bank vault. I'm not even kidding about that. It's so vital you protect that, because people, if you get known in the industry, if you start showing off you've got funds, people could break into your house, look for the piece of paper. People aren't people aren't dumb anymore, and criminals are getting smarter and getting used to the fact they've moved into crypto, and they think it's something they can take advantage of because it's anonymous as such. So you do have to be really, really careful.
Yeah, somewhat anonymous and quite an unregulated grey space area at the moment.
Absolutely. So you need to just take precautions as you go through anything, even if you're not minting an NFT, or if you're maybe you're doing a swap for a different currency. you need to just like double check the URLs, Google around them. Like, what are people saying? What are people saying on Reddit, Twitter? Is there kind of bad press around those links? You just got to do your own due diligence before diving into kind of using these blockchain apps and these kind of minting NFTs just to protect yourself and give yourself that extra bit of security knowing you've done as much as you can. Because you know what, there are going to be some times where something's going to happen. You're not going to be able to protect yourself if you are targeted by a huge group of hackers. You can do as much as you can to slow them down, but sometimes you know what, you can't do everything. Um, but you just got to do as much as you can do just so you can protect yourself from these silly, simple mistakes like phishing attacks happen day to day in any business, any industry, so common. I've seen lawyers, I've seen doctors clicking on them, I've seen really, really high up professionals clicking on them, like CEOs of businesses, and they lose millions and millions of pounds and dollars just by doing that. So you have to be really, really careful. And my final kind of basic guideline is just use a VPN, especially when you're on public Wi-Fi. So this will essentially just encrypt all of the traffic you have, gives you another layer of protection, so it stops people listening in. So people, if you're especially on a public network, you go into a cafe, you go into a pub, you go on somewhere, you got your laptop out or your phone, people can be listening in. That's what they do. So they might sit in a cafe, sit in a Starbucks or something, and they'll be sat there all day sniffing all of the internet traffic and wait until they find something good. So by using that VPN, you can actually encrypt your traffic even going through a public network. So just another way you can protect yourself. All right, let's move on. There we go.
All right, so wallets. So we have hot and cold wallets. So hot wallets are mainly wallets that are always connected to the internet. That would be MetaMask, for example, even Coinbase ones that are web-based. And then you have the hardware ones, which are more either physical, so well they are physical, so you can have offline wallets like paper ones or metal cards, which have the key phrase on them, and then you can store them in like a vault or wallet somewhere. And then you have ones like Trezor as well, where you just connect it to your computer, and then that can either connect to MetaMask or other hot wallets. But the key thing with the hardware wallet itself, the key phrase is never exposed to the internet. That's the main security benefits of the hardware wallet. When would you use a hotware wallet? While doing initial mints, I would say, or small transactions. If you want to be paranoid, you could still use your cold wallet connected through MetaMask to do your initial mints as well, which is something we practice as well. But either or is fine. But as soon as you do your initial mint, I would say transfer your NFTs to a hardware wallet, a cold wallet. Um, a downside to hardware wallets, cold wallets are it's less convenient and there's additional costs. I know the Trezor wallet can go to a couple hundreds. Some people don't have that money, so your next best bet is to use a desktop wallet. Um, but I'd pick one that is not always connected to the. It's a desktop based one, so it's not connected to a web browser, for example. Um, One I could think of is Exodus wallets, I think. What else? Oh yeah, so cold wallets. You also want to use them when storing large amounts of crypto coins or NFTs. Um, Also, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So don't just have one cold wallet, have multiple, and then split them across them as well. The same with the hot wallet. In case one gets compromised along the way, you might load a website up, press connect by mistake. That wallet is exposed because the website itself is malicious and it's trying to steal your funds. So make sure you split up. You have multiple wallets. I know in MetaMask you can create multiple accounts. Multiple accounts aren't the same as having multiple wallets. So it's a key thing to remember. So every time you create a wallet, there will be a seed phrase that you'll need to save. So
Uh,
yeah,
and one thing to note, definitely with a hard wallet, even a hot wallet, store your seed phrases somewhere really, really safe. be it in a bank vault or in a safe, because in reality, you may have written it down on a piece of paper, but that piece of paper gives someone access to hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. So you still have to treat it like it's something in the bank. So you can keep it there for a rainy day. You lose your ledger, you need to recover it with your seed phrase, or you kind of lose your access. You can do it through that. But if you don't prepare for things like that, you can be like those people that have, mined Bitcoin back in like from years and years ago. They've got like 50 Bitcoins sat in a wallet, but they don't remember the seed phrase because they didn't store it anywhere. So it could be the case of not just security, but also, you lose your wallet, or you forget your password to get in. You need that recovery phase to get back into your wallet and make sure you can still have access to all your cryptocurrencies and tokens in that wallet.
Yeah. So yeah, also with the hot wallets, don't put like large amount of funds in there. Just put what you need at the time and top up as needed from the cold wallets, I would say. But also, as Sam was saying at the beginning, make sure your laptop, your computer, your phone has some kind of antivirus software installed in the first place, because as soon as that's compromised, so is your hot wallet, so is your MetaMask. So that's a key thing to remember as well. There are additional steps you can take to securing your wallets. You can One method is using multi-sig wallets. I know you can set this up with hot wallets as well via MetaMask. This essentially means that if I wanted to do a transaction online or mint on a website, no, I would need my signature and, for example, Sam's signature at the same time before the mint to go through. This can be done with 3 people, up to 10 people, as many as you want, as long as the requirements are met that you've set initially. Another security step to take it a bit further, mainly with cold wallets. I know Trezor supports this. Is It's called Shamir security. So essentially, it's the same process as the multi-sig wallet, but it's securing your seed phrase. So imagine, let's say, like Sam said, you wrote down your seed phrase, but a cleaner or a friend found it. Um, they can take that and access all your crypto instantly. With Shamir set up, you essentially split it up over 3 seed phrases. So Sam would have one, I would have one, one of our co-founders, Anderson, would have one. If we ever needed to recover that wallet, we would need at least 2 out of the 3, or 8 out of the 11. That was You can split out, you can put into banks, just additional security steps. I'd say that's taking it a bit far, but in this crypto space, it's good to be paranoid, and because you never know the value of your crypto could go up, or your NFTs in the future. So you always want to keep that kind of stuff safe.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And you don't want to end up like the drug dealer that had about 45 million pounds of Bitcoin, didn't have access to the wallet, left his key, his secret key, in a fishing rod case. Which, you know what, when they're cleaning out his house, that got chucked in the landfill. So that piece of paper is never going to be found again. So you want to make sure you're going to protect your wallet somehow and make sure you never lose access to them.
Yeah, I know some people as well take it even further. So when they're writing it down on a piece of paper, they'll use like a UV pen, so you can't really see what's on the paper unless you have like a black light. Um, that's a pretty cool way to do it as well. So also, Sam was talking about exchanges. Yeah, so exchanges don't is not your crypto as long as it's on an exchange. I know exchanges can be what's it called, Sam? When they
They're a bit deceiving.
insured, sorry,
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah.
exchanges can be insured, but only up to a certain amount. So you'll possibly lose out if they're hacked. So ideally,
Yeah.
a few steps you can take is to have multiple accounts or multiple exchanges. That will spread your attack vector. So if one is attacked and you lose some crypto, at least you haven't lost everything. But also, I would suggest taking self custody of that crypto onto your cold wallets. That's the best method to assuring you won't lose your funds.
Absolutely. I mean, you can Google Coinbase insurance. They've got like literally 3 paragraphs on it. So it's kind of worrying about how little detail there is on the insurance. And they just say, yeah, we've got a bit of criminal insurance on it. we can't guarantee or cover everyone's funds, but they'll do their best to try and make it up. So if something ever does happen, they'll try and cover it, but they can't guarantee it. So you do have to act as your own insurance policy, essentially, in protecting your own wallet. Because we're still in an unregulated space, there isn't kind of federal insurance or federal kind of guarantees or government guarantees about your funds. Or like, I know in the UK, you're secured up to about £80,000 in a bank account if the bank goes bust. Something similar in the States, I think it's around $75,000. Um, but there's nothing like that in the crypto space as of yet. Might be an emerging market and sector to get into. Might be the next big thing of 2022 is kind of crypto insurance. But yeah, for now, you kind of have to act as your own insurer and take every precaution you can to protect yourself, really.
Absolutely. And also, when buying hardware wallets, make sure you buy them from directly from the site. Don't click on ads. Um, Make sure the URL you're going to is correct again, because you don't want to buy third-party wallets. They could be tampered with, be malicious.
Absolutely. Don't want to be transferring all your hard-earned Bitcoin and Ethereum into it, and then someone else just recovers it straight away. Not good.
Nope. Don't buy off Amazon, eBay. Don't do that.
No, direct from the providers, and make sure you check the URLs again. Just double check it's the right one. So the next thing I wanted to go into a little bit more detail about is kind of phishing attacks. Just talking about in the crypto space. So here's some I made earlier. No, so one of these was just sent to my email address from a while back. I just made the text one as well. It's incredibly easy to do. Um, Took me about 3 minutes to spoof the name, create an SMS, and send this to whoever I want. So it's crazy scary how kind of unprotected SMS naming is right now. So I know they're looking to regulate it, and there's been restrictions applied to it gradually. But right now, you can still easily spoof any sender's name. You can even spoof it so it goes into the same chat or the same kind of history with whoever it is. So if I sent you an Apple one, your normal Apple message saying, "Here's your Apple bill," this message would appear right under that. It's really scary. So with these phishing attacks, you just need to look out for, definitely check the names and email addresses. Like, it can seem legitimate. Like, hey, I've got an SMS from MetaMask. I've got an email from MetaMask. But what you really need to do is just have a look. Would it be something they're looking to do? Is there any spelling errors or any grammatical errors in it? It's like in that email, like they haven't capitalized the second M. They've missed out a few different things. They're asking you to confirm your secret recovery phase. That is no one will ever ask for your seed phrase. So
Here you
just,
go. Here's my seed phrase.
yeah, I'm definitely going to give you it. No one ever should ask for that. That is something you keep. Like, MetaMask doesn't need to know it. No one else needs to know it. That's yours.
Seed
So
phrase.
if anyone,
Don't. It's your
sorry,
bank. Don't give it up.
exactly, it is your key to the bank essentially. You just, if you type that in anyway, you're just giving someone the key to enter and take everything you got in it. So I think anything that's asking you to like quickly verify your seed phrase or any passwords is really worrying, and just avoid it. I mean, what you can do is you can also see like there was a verify button on that email I got. Um, if you hovered over it, it would actually take you to completely around a different URL. And there's another one that was metamask.io/verify. But if then you hovered over that link, it actually show you the actual link it's going to take you. So I mean, you can change the text of the link you're clicking. So it's not going to be the same. So it's something you really want to be cautious about. Just clicking any links, I'm kind of very, you know, weary about. You have to be very, very careful and just typically ignore most of these anyway. You're going to get blasted with these throughout. And I mean, you get a lot of these coming through on Discord as well, which is why I say just disable your DMs, because you get a lot of panic causing messages, which can drive, like similar to the FOMO kind of ones. Panic can also kind of drive your brain kind of overclock it. Is like, oh shit, I need to quickly go onto this and verify, otherwise I'm going to lose all my funds. You just need to be able to kind of take a breather and just look, no, that's not right. And you can just check the links out, even if it's from an official email. You can still spoof emails, and you can spoof phone numbers. You can spoof anything really still. So it's just all about double checking it and thinking, is someone really going to need that? If not, just leave it. And you can always contact them via their website to inquire with it to their official website. So don't go through any links in the email, but just Google whoever they are. It's MetaMask, go onto their official website and just email them, hey, is this you? Likelihood it's going to be no. So next, we want to talk about some risks that have been kind of associated with iCloud. I'm sure many of you know there are some issues with MetaMask, not necessarily with MetaMask, but with iCloud itself. So something you may not know is that iCloud will automatically back up all app data unless you kind of say no. And this is a really big no-no because this leaves you incredibly vulnerable. So you don't need to worry about your MetaMask password or anything being compromised here. This is worrying about your iCloud details being compromised. So if someone is able to compromise your iCloud email, be it through like a phishing email or anything like that, they then have the opportunity to download all your app backups. And what's even worse is a lot of people reuse the same password or have very, very simple passwords or similar passwords even, which means they could either use the same password to get into unlock the app data backups and unencrypt them, or they could just crack it. Like, you might have a few variations of the same password you use. They could then just kind of run with them and crack through them pretty easily. What you need to do is just make sure you have a completely different password for different applications. Ensure they're incredibly difficult. Use a password manager for that reason, just to add that complexity, because they can generate really complex and secure passwords much longer. That kind of be impossible to crack. It would probably take thousands of years running like 100 different machines trying to crack them all at once. So it's not really possible. But also, I do recommend turning off your iCloud backups for a lot of app data, just because it opens you up to a lot of kind of vulnerability. If someone were to compromise your iCloud, they can download all of your data, any apps you've used, including MetaMask. It's a thing you should really turn off. So after this presentation, we will be uploading the PowerPoint. So MetaMask has highlighted a few steps themselves in their tweets. So you'll be able to see it here, how you kind of disable them specifically as well. But you can normally just have a quick Google, iCloud disable app data backups. It'll walk you through a few quick steps to go through.
Yeah, that being said, don't store anything to do with your seed phrase or private keys online.
No,
Even if it's
never.
a password manager that's online, don't store it there because it can be
Key
compromised.
phrases, write them down on a
Yeah.
piece of paper the old-fashioned way, and put them some safe, like literally in a safe.
Or buy one of
What
those.
can I say?
I know they sell metal ones. We can get for seed phrases.
Anything like that. You just want to keep it safe, somewhere safe that you're not going to forget about as well. Because it's all great being nice and secure, but it's not great when you can't find your seed phrase. So you do need to make sure it's secure but findable for yourself, I guess. So one thing I like to call FOMO traps is fake minting sites. So this is one I stumbled upon on Twitter about like yesterday evening. Out of the blue, invisible girlfriends. So supposedly becoming some collaboration between the Invisible Friends collection, and from it you get a baby. You can combine an invisible friends and invisible girlfriends to produce an invisible baby. Now, this project, as soon as you go on that site, the mint counter just starts going up rapidly, rapidly, rapidly. But as soon as you press refresh, it goes all the way back down to 3,300 every single time, every single time. So it's kind of that trying to trap you with that FOMO, that fear of missing out, making you want to just hop in and buy it. So these are most common through the Discord DMs and Twitter DMs, alerting to you about projects you're in. So like if you're in a specific Discord server, if you haven't got your DMs turned off, you'll have bots instantly message you as soon as you join or in around when they're about to mint, saying, hey, look, we're minting, quick. Look, we've only got 53 left. Something create urgency, try and trap you into it, that FOMO. You have to be really, really careful. Like some of these projects as well. So you can have the ones targeting real projects. So I know the piggy bankers project that was really badly targeted by them. They lost hundreds and hundreds of thousands due to people going on to these ones because it was a lot of people's first NFT they were buying. So they didn't know what they're doing. They had the Discord DMs open. They're thinking, oh, it's the server link we know. It had the same profile picture, same name. And it's just they thought it was the server informing them, not just a bot DMing them, trying to tell them, hey, look, this is a website, go mint, and you're going to get scammed to hell out of. So I think anytime you see anything like this, even if it's a project you're familiar with, check the links, check them again, and check them again. Check the social media pages, Discord, website. What's the activity like? Is it real? So, for example, on this Invisible Girlfriends one, they had a lot of hype around it with the Twitter ads like blowing up across Twitter yesterday. Um, but then if you go on the website, there's nothing really there. There's no Discord. There's a Twitter and there's an Instagram. So there's huge red flags kind of rising right there. On top of that, the mint counter kind of gradually, super quick, increasing, trying to get you to FOMO in, trying to get you to connect your wallet. Um, so you just got to look out for this.
What's the most recent hyped project? I think the other side from Bored Ape Yacht Club. They had plenty
Absolutely.
of scam websites. If you go online, plenty of people complaining, lost their funds. It's quite crazy how easy it is to scam in this crypto world at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, it's you think the blockchain's anonymous, like these criminals do. They think the blockchain's completely anonymous,
It will catch
but
up
you
to
get it catches up to them. Like, but you get people, a team from Twitter. You get a few people kind of grouping together. You can track every single wallet, where every single coin goes, and people building these big mind maps and say, okay, it's reached an exchange. It's got to get out at one point. And you know what? What was it was the Embers project, I think. There's
you. Yeah,
Embers was
so
that the
so
one?
it went to the endpoint and then they had to withdraw the funds eventually. So they have to go through an exchange, which is monitored. And as soon as they do that, they're being tracked by the FBI. Um,
Yeah, and those two guys, I think they're like 19, 20, something like that, very, very young. They're now facing up to 20 years in prison for fraud, a lot of wire fraud. They still stole about $1.5 million. But in this case, they didn't actually ever try and withdraw the funds as of yet. But they just because they'd gone on Coinbase once, they had their IP address logged. They were able to then trace back exactly where they were living, found out who it was, and from there it just kind of unraveled.
yeah,
And that's what's happening now.
I think they were buying little things though, like plane tickets, food, because I think they connected it through. Because you know how you can get Mastercards as well that's connected to
Yeah,
wallets.
the
I think they were
cards.
using that, thinking, "Oh, it's still anonymous," when it's not.
Yeah, if you get like a card from crypto.com, somewhere like that,
Yeah,
um, it's crazy. People think, oh, it's Bitcoin, it's crypto, it's anonymous. No, you're getting tracked to hell. It's just another way of tracking you now. A little bit more anonymous, but you're still trackable through everything. I'm just seeing. I think
question.
I'm glad to see that some people are noticing that the Invisible Girlfriends is a big red flag. Um, it is incredibly scary. Um, because I saw that blowing up last night. So I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And then as soon as I see the mint counter going up and up and up and up, I was like, doesn't look too good. I refresh and it just drops back down to the exact same one. There's no Discord. There's no community. There's no history. I couldn't see any AMAs. I couldn't see who the team was. So I think it's really vital when going for any project is make sure you see there's actual activity, there's a community, that the
Yep,
founders are out there.
so they made a killing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're still making money every day
Yeah,
from these ad campaigns on Twitter. I don't know how they're not banned from running ads right now. I've reported them a whole bunch of times from like 6 different accounts. Um, it's annoying. It's something we're having issues with in this space right now, I guess. We've got to fight on through until kind of Twitter and other platforms start implementing some more security checks onto these projects. But for someone new into the NFT space, that's like thinking, oh, I can get a really big NFT. They've heard of Invisible Friends. Um, so they're like, oh, it's related to Invisible Friends. I'm going to quickly grab one. It is scary because people will fall for that absolutely. Like if you're new to the space, you definitely think, you know what, this looks fine, and you're kind of getting that FOMO urge because you see the counter going up and up and up. So you just grab one or two, but you're gonna lose out when you realize, oh, there's nothing coming to me. It's just annoying that Twitter's still allowing these to be promoted all across their platform. So if you do see that ad, guys, it's not a real project. If you Google Invisible Girlfriends NFT, there is nothing on the internet about it. I could not find a single shred about it. No website. Their website is about half an inch long. There's just
Oh,
a
I
mint
think
button.
their
That's about
Twitter
it.
got suspended.
Oh, it's been supposed. Hey,
Okay? Yeah,
that is good news. Okay, so we've got a win today.
one win.
Their Twitter has now been their Twitter's been suspended apparently. That's a very very big win for us. And you know what? I've just seen. I literally opened up my Twitter, and you know what it is? It's Invisible Girlfriends. Oh, I think they've got a new Twitter. So they're just spinning up new Twitters all the time. So got to be really weary about this because it looks like they're just trial and error and keep building on it. So just be really really careful about all of these. Soon, I think there's going to be more than enough regulations to give everyone protection to help them feel a bit more
Yeah,
comfortable in this
it'll take a
space.
while though. It's not like the
Uh,
governments really like or care about it. So all the bad
yeah,
publicity, they kind of like that, I would say.
yeah. Oh yeah, all the news agencies like the bad publicity over everything. But anyway, this is why we're doing this kind of little masterclass, just going through some basic security, basic things to look out for, just because there are a lot of new people heading into the space, and if you're not aware of what is what, you're going to get hit and you're going to kind of have a loss. And we wouldn't want you to have your first NFT be a scam. It'd be a terrible way of getting into the space and kind of probably could even ruin some people's um, entire thoughts on it. They might never want to come back into the space. They might just dip out. They've got scammed. They're out. So
And you know
definitely
what?
something to
Negativity
look on.
spreads like wildfire. So
Absolutely. So we've got one more, another interesting kind of attack that's going around. So this is using Google Sheets and macros. I mean, it's even using Excel sheets and macros. So macros are essentially kind of a set of pre-recorded actions that can be run whenever requested. So normally the spreadsheet will run it on startup to update to pull data from external sources or to run certain actions. So these kinds of attacks have been around for years to do kind of like install malware in your computer. But recently, some sophisticated attackers have actually found out how to utilize them to empty your wallets. Um, it's crazy. I've seen kind of a live demo of it. People showing off how they've happened kind of in like a secured environment, going through what it does. You open one of these up, first thing it does is open up all your wallets, any wallet you got, whether it's desktop application, whether it's a web-based application like a MetaMask, it will try go into it and try and take anything you have in that. So one thing I just to get around this is if someone's sending you a Google spreadsheet completely randomly, just ignore it, report it if you can. And if you do need a spreadsheet, I typically say do not allow them to access your Google account unless you're completely certain you're receiving it from someone you know and that you know there's meant to be macros in it. And even if you do know them, I just recommend emptying your wallets and putting everything directly into a cold wallet, just so that in case, like, hey, your friend or colleague at work might be compromised. You might have, been showing off you've got this $500,000 NFT, or you've just bought one, you just minted another land or something like that, and they compromise your colleague. Maybe he was an easier target, or he or she was an easier target than you. So they've compromised them, send it to you, and then you think it's just from your colleague, so you're trusting, you open it up, and then boom, your NFT is gone. And any other funds you got are gone. That are stored in any hot wallets or anything like that. So that's why having a cold wallet is just another layer of security. So there's so many things you can do to prevent yourselves kind of falling victim to these attacks. Um, but it does get more difficult, like especially if they target someone around you, and then they can then use that person to target you essentially. So kind of when you get a more of a in kind of a targeted phishing attack coming from like somewhere you work or anything like that. So you just have to be very, very, very careful with anything you're opening nowadays. I'm not very trusting with any single link on the internet. And I don't recommend you should be either, because it's so easy just to have click on one thing and get compromised, and it can ruin your day. And definitely empty your crypto wallets as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And to touch upon Sam's point about not downloading anything from strangers or links you've clicked, because I know even if you've once you've downloaded it, antiviruses can't often scan larger file sizes, like 300 megs, 100 megs, and within those files would be one file that's probably 3 gigabytes in data, so really small. That would be the malicious software. So you have to watch out on things like that. How to purchase an NFT safely. So essentially everything we've covered up until now, I'm just going to repeat because it's how to stay safe online while buying NFTs. You're going to want to make sure you're using a wallet you know is secure, even if it is a hot wallet. If you have any suspicions that you might have clicked on a bad link, bad website, malicious website, you think it's compromised in any way, just delete the wallet and create a new one from scratch. Remembering that when you create a new wallet on MetaMask, for example, make sure you get a new seed phrase, because that's really the account. Because you can still create multiple accounts within MetaMask, for example. But at the end of the day, you still want to be using a hardware wallet where possible. Things to look out for. So, mint counters, like Sam was saying, when you load a website up, if the mint count goes up really quickly and you refresh and it resets the same number, that's a dead giveaway. Make sure your DMs are turned off on Discord. Don't reply to social media advertisements, like on Twitter, Instagram. I know it's going rampant because they'll always be trying to shill scam scam projects, and there's always like knockoff projects like that look really similar, like the Invisible Girlfriends one that we're chatting about in the chat. It's obviously a scam, but people don't know this, and the fear of missing out kicks in, and you see the counter going up, and you might not think about it at the time, but you need to like slow down, assess the situation first, make sure that you're connecting to a valid website. And also, when you do connect to a website, a lot of the times it would pop up straight away to connect your wallet. Just press reject straight away, just so you can verify the URL is correct, and everything on that site is correct, making sure it's not another malicious website. Again, make sure you got antivirus, because if you have a virus, wipe your laptop, reset, because you never know, what key phrases they might have pulled from your web browser. Because I know MetaMask had, or still has, I'm not sure, a vulnerability where it does sometimes store the keys within the browser. And if your browser is compromised, for example, as Sam was saying, if it's connected to a backup like iCloud, which can easily be hacked into, then your crypto is basically gone at that point. Again, don't open files from unfamiliar senders. Make sure you research before buying. So take the time to research the project. Are these guys doxed? Do you see a good community behind it? Are people chatting actively? Is the account brand new, or has it been there for some time? Is there some level of credibility to the NFT project you're buying into, one way or another? Yeah, make sure you watch out for airdrops as well. So even we do airdrops. Many projects do airdrops, but anyone can create an airdrop and airdrop it to you, and that airdrop token, NFT, crypto can be linked to a malicious smart contract. And as soon as you interact with that token, it can give them access to your wallet. So again, this is why we use cold wallets such as Trezor, because even if they did get to that stage where you're interacting with that token or that malicious smart contract, you would still need to physically verify on your wallet to let any transactions go out. So it's just another additional um, security step. Your seed phrase is your life, is your bank account. Make sure you don't give that out ever. It's like giving the keys to the kingdom, the keys to your NatWest bank account, or in America, I don't even know American banks, but yeah, it's, you, you wouldn't give out access to any of your banks or your credit card information, for example, as well. Once you've made your purchase, move that NFT. So yeah, so this is a hybrid approach is sometimes good because if you're using a hot wallet on MetaMask, you can purchase the NFT. You have minimal funds in that wallet, so if anything does go wrong, you're not losing everything. And as soon as you buy the NFT, you can then transfer that to your cold wallet. No risk involved.
I think the one of my biggest things, yeah, Adam touched upon already, is just verify the project. And I think it's difficult. Like if you find a project that looks amazing at the last minute, that's already like nearly minted out. But just spend your time going through the project, going through a white paper, the website, checking out the team, seeing their activity, seeing if they've done AMAs before. Like, have they shown who they are? Do they talk about the project? Are they actually involved as founders, or do they just kind of like leave it off to like hire a community manager or something? Because you want to see the founders are deeply involved in any project you're getting into, because it's truly them that you're buying into, rather than a community manager they're paying to run a few AMAs here and there. So it's just, I think that's the biggest thing, is just check out that project. And I mean, we at Hydra Wales, like if you're always interested in like checking out what's going to be, is this going to be a real project? Send it our way. We'll have a look. So, I mean, we're looking at building our potentially our own auditing system in the longer run, working with our legal team. But for now, if you've got any queries about any other project you want to get into, just drop it in the, put it in a scam alerts channel. Can we verify it's a scam? We can say, hey, look, yep, potentially going to be one. I potentially personally miss it. I don't trust it. We're more than happy to do that and just have a quick look. We can tell in just a couple of minutes, so we're more than happy to give up our time for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll double check everything, go in depth, try and find out as much information as possible. Just reading the chat, yeah, Bank of America
I
is
just
a
saw
very
that as
bank.
well.
Um, my mom, I actually lived in America for a while, so my mind just went blank at that point. I know Chase Bank. I'm not going to list them now because I can't remember any of them. But yeah, um, yeah. Again, your seed phrase. Don't give it out. Make sure you secure it somewhere. To take it a step further, again, there's methods such as how do I pronounce it? Shamar. I forgot. Let me just get the pronunciation.
Shamir.
Shamir, yeah, Shamir Security, which is available on the Trezor wallet. So again, you can split up the seed phrases and have them at different locations. It's just additional steps of security and using multi-sig wallets as well. Everything we've talked about, if you combine them, you're as safe as can be.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I think I know we've done kind of like a brief overview of everything. So we are going to be doing some like more low level kind of videos, going into the depths of different ones. Maybe we could do a few case studies, diving into maybe smart contract attacks next, or like malicious smart contracts and what to watch out for. I mean, on the smart contract side, it's definitely going to take a whole video to go into that, but just one thing to note: for projects not kind of openly sharing like their contract link or anything like that, I'd be a bit wary about that.
A bit. Yeah, the contract should be visible on Etherscan or
Yeah,
whatever the chain is, such like Polygon Scan, Solana Scan. If it's
yeah.
not
So
visible there, then no.
no, no. I mean, even if they put it on the blockchain and they're just not showing you what the dedicated link is, you can find it. But if they're not saying this is our link for our smart contract, it's a
Yeah,
little bit weird, because it's always good to check them out. Because I mean, it's the blockchain, everything's visible, so you can literally read through the smart contract and see what functions are enabled, what things they've got going on in it. And I'm sure like if there's always going to be someone that's technical enough in a project in a community just to have a quick look and glimpse and like, okay, looks cool, looks good. Or is there why is there this function?
Yeah, and there's many ways to like obfuscate, like in code, any malicious attacks or ways around it. So anyone reading it, like most people, wouldn't even understand reading the code, which is why as well you want to look for projects that have their smart contracts audited. I know that's something we're looking into as well, um, to make sure our community is safe as well for investing into any other projects.
Yeah, so we're looking at potentially offering a service for kind of auditing projects and contracts.
Yep.
So we work with a legal team on retainer throughout our project. Um, and we're kind of having a few talks, seeing could we potentially create a service for other projects. This could be one of the Hydra Wells projects running this. You get a Hydra Wells stamp of approval. You get things like that done. So definitely something we're looking into. So hopefully we can help people with that in the future. But in the meantime, does anyone have any questions for us?
Don't think so. I think they're all security experts now.
We've educated enough. How many whales would you keep on one wallet?
Good question. If it's cold wallet, um, there's no real right answer to this. It's how many do you feel safe like storing in one place? If it's valued at 10,000, if that one wallet was compromised, how would you feel? Would you want to split it up against three wallets? It's really your own preference, I'd say. But at the end of the day, do split them up at least. So if one is lost, not always lost.
Especially once we start churning out our payouts as well, because I mean the whale's value is going to be going crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean you do want to look after your whale.
Got a question. Can
Can
I get on a whitelist? And when is it?
So our phase two starts on Friday. There is not a whitelist, so you can get straight in. So it's 6 p.m. UK time. That's 1 p.m. EST, and that's all the time conversions I can do because I'm terrible at converting times. But you can hop onto our Discord, which is discord.gg/hydrawhales, and you can see what we've got all of the details and the announcements. It's got all the mint date, the mint time, and all the details in there. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about the project through there as well. Any more questions for us, people? Or otherwise, we're more than happy to answer them whenever. Like you can hop into our Discord, ask us a question. There's no problem with that. And we'll definitely be scheduling a lot more master classes. So we've got some planned, not just for security as well. Starting to plan out some going to be some kind of trading master classes and a huge range of things as well. So it's not just that. So these are going to be holder only ones. Cybersecurity is important for the entire space. So we're more than happy to keep this open for everybody. But for kind of some trading ones, going into more depth, they're going to be holder exclusive master classes.
So I've got a question. If I turn off iCloud backup, what else would this affect?
So you can turn off app data specifically. All this will mean is just that if you lose your phone, then essentially you can't back up the data from your app. So hey, like if you're using like something that's storing on your phone data, you won't be able to get that back, like a game, for example. Most kind of apps have digital storage, like MyFitnessPal, for example, tracking your calories, tracking what you're eating. You sign in with that, it pulls your data from the database. That's not saved on your phone, but like games are. So that's what you'd be looking at losing if you turn app data off, app data backups off. if you see an NFT in your wallet that you didn't buy, what should you do with it? And combining that with the question, next question, is there any way to get rid of an airdropped NFT? So if you've got an NFT in your wallet that you didn't buy, that's just typically because someone's airdropped it to you. You don't necessarily have to do anything with that. Just leave it as is. Um, but if you do want to get rid of it, you can actually send it to a burn wallet. So if you Google just like Ethereum burn wallet, for example, you'll come straight up with one. So essentially, these are wallets that there's no access to or invalid addresses, essentially. So when something is sent to it, then it's just going to be off of the main blockchain. Essentially, it's not going to be in your wallet anymore.
Or just
Um,
or just delete the token. Don't look at it.
yeah, for
Out of
that,
sight, out of mind.
hide it away. Because I think you can hide them on OpenSea. You can just actually delete them from your OpenSea account.
Yeah, I would just not touch it. Yeah,
Still be in your wallet technically, though, wouldn't it?
yeah. But at that point, you should probably be changing wallets then.
Absolutely. So what wallets do we use? So we use, so this is just a question from our
So
Discord.
yeah,
Um,
so hardware wallets that we would recommend, Trezor. It's the only one I'd recommend at this point. There are plenty other ones that are okay, like Ledger, but number one would be Trezor.
yeah, so Trezor's like the top end one. Obviously they're a bit more expensive. Um,
Yeah, mainly because their track record is impeccable compared to Ledger, which had a data breach. But the data breach was only personal data. But at the same time, um, hackers, malicious people could use that personal data to get around to you, figure out who you are, um, and yeah, and back
Absolutely. I
and
mean,
social engineer is the word I was trying to get. Social engineer their way into your accounts, essentially.
yeah, I mean that there are preferences anyway. There's a huge range of wallets out there. But just having some form of physical wallet is going to improve your security so much compared to just using a hot wallet. I think that's all the questions I can see for now. So thank you very much for listening tonight, everybody. We appreciate you taking your time out. I know it's been about an hour or so, but I think that these are really vital kind of things to know and learn about the NFT and crypto space, just how to protect yourself,
And
just
wisdom, yeah.
general security. Oh, so for the Hydro's Mining Club, so phase two mint is $400. So our mint price is essentially pegged to USD. Because we're purchasing Bitcoin mining equipment, our price changes according to the market. So that's why it is pegged to USD. We're not minting until Friday, this Friday, 6th of May, which is 1 p.m. EST, 6 p.m. UK time. So hop into our Discord, all the details are there. We're more than happy to kind of go through the project in a bit more detail. We'll help you prep up for getting minted. We're on hand for the mint as well, so you can create a ticket. We can guide you step by step as well if needed. So I think that's it for now, guys. Thank you very much for joining tonight. We're going to definitely be doing some more in-depth ones over the kind of next few months. So if there's any topics you want to cover, and specifically in terms of security or any kind of breaches you've seen, anything like that, let us know. We can definitely look into it.
Yeah, I think we just had a question in Discord quickly. Should my wallet stay connected to OpenSea? Is that showing off? Not too sure what you mean by is that showing off.
So
Um,
I guess you're flaunting the Hydra whales or whatever NFTs you've got. Um,
yeah, so you can still have your. So ideally, you would have your hardware wallet connected through MetaMask or through Coinbase wallet, so you can connect to OpenSea and still view your NFTs. That would be the best way to do it.
yeah, it's just more in regards to showing off. You just wouldn't ever say like publicly go on Twitter and say, "Hey, look, I've just bought 10 other lands. I've just dropped this much on this NFT." You just don't want to publicly say, "I'm spending this much money. I've got this much in my wallet. Come have a look at me." You want to avoid that kind of stance,
Yeah.
just so then you don't make yourself a target for anything.
At the same time, when you say should you stay connected as well? So whenever you visit these websites, these dApps, and you press connect, it will always be connected to that site technically. So you want to go and disconnect any of them because those sites themselves are centralized and can get hacked and expose you as the end result.
We'll answer any more questions we get. We'll do that through the
Yeah,
Discord now. I think I can see everyone's hopping off.
yeah.
So thank you very much, guys, for hopping on tonight. If you have any more questions, ping them through our Discord. More than happy to help.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.